My father came from Mexico, like a lot of our fathers did. He worked at the cannery in San Pedro, and he went to night school to become a mechanic, Renault, Audi, then Porsche. And then, as years gone by, he became a service manager from a GM. Then he had his own European shop
So he definitely
in
started.
Oceanside.
He started from
He
nothing.
started from nothing. And cancer took him at a very young age. He was 48 years old, stomach cancer. But his thing was, more succeeding than money. He never really talked about money.
Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm doing better than I deserve.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your support and for allowing us to give an interview. So let's just get started. What is your highest level of education?
High school.
Perfect. What do you do for a living?
I own my own exterminating company.
Excellent. We'll definitely be touching on that later on. What social class were you growing up?
They used to call me Hollywood, so I would hang out with stoners, punkers, jocks,
Anything.
surfers, not surfers.
Yeah. So would you consider maybe that it was more like on the medium or you were on the low side?
I was on the medium side.
Were there any struggles being middle class?
Insecurity, and I think that's why I involve myself with not just one group, but several.
All right. Hey, that's good. You like to hang out with different crowds. I think that you definitely can get different things from each one of them. So that's good. What do your family talk about money?
I would say maybe 40% of my life.
Oh, really? So it was actually like on the table, like,
Yeah,
okay.
it was, yeah, as far as money, no.
So not really. Okay. Would you guys talk about like maybe just saving money or like using money as a tool, or how was it perceived to you growing up?
My mother always told me to save money and build credit.
Good.
That's what she was programmed at the time. Um, my dad, he never talked about money. It was more becoming a man, working, having your own business, whatever it may be good at it.
So
But
you're
it was never money. He never talked about money with me.
so it's mostly about work ethic, but your dad also had his own business then?
He did.
And is that because you also started your business or?
No, it
Yes.
just, it wasn't planned. It was for him.
And also your dad was the one that, so you're kind of like taking over then what
Oh,
he
no,
started?
no, no.
Or?
Oh, I wish, right? No. My father came from Mexico, like a lot of our fathers did. He worked at the cannery in San Pedro, and he went to night school to become a mechanic, Renault, Audi, then Porsche. And then, as years gone by, he became a service manager from a GM. Then he had his own European shop
So he definitely
in
started,
Oceanside.
he started from nothing.
He started from nothing. And cancer took him at a very young age. He was 48 years old, stomach cancer. But his thing was, more succeeding than money. He never really talked about money, although we were spoiled, right? But um,
I think like based on what you're telling me, he gave you a great work ethic.
yeah, it was levantarte y chingarle.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, your mom gave you more about like, hey, take care of your credit. I think that's very important. And also saving. And your dad was like, hey, be a man, go work really, really hard, and eventually you'll make it. I think that's a great combination, honestly. Now, do you recall your first interaction with money?
It was back in the 70s when I used to play baseball, and my dad gave me 3 dimes, and each dime I can go buy baseball cards that came with bubble gum.
Oh, wow. Do you still have those baseball cards?
I wish. I wish. No, during our move back in the late 70s from the LA area to San Diego, I don't know what my mother did with them. Yeah.
Hey, you live and learn. And if you were to have them right now, I think that they would be a great investment.
Yeah.
Excellent. So now we're going to be going over our first section called dollars and cents. We're going to ask you some behavioral questions to evaluate your money habits. We have randomly generated 5 questions. The first question is, what is a financial habit that you would like to fix?
Giving a name to a dollar.
Okay, so really knowing where everything is going to be
Yes.
spent. Do you track your expenses?
Not as well as I should.
Okay. All righty. I mean, definitely something that I believe that could be an easy fix, whether you start an Excel sheet, that's what I do personally, or there are so many apps out there that you can definitely use. But I think like you just knowing like, hey, I need to do this is definitely a great step. Question number 2 is, what is the biggest financial obstacle that you have ever encountered?
Purchasing my first home.
Why was it difficult?
It wasn't that difficult, but I thought it was at first because, like I said, my father, he left at a very young age and didn't show me certain things that I could have done. So I kind of started from the ground up.
I mean, you're saying like getting your first house. I think that that's something good to touch on. So what was difficult about it? Maybe getting the down payment for it or like actually knowing the
The
area?
credit,
Okay.
the credit, more than anything.
But given the fact that your mom was always telling you like, hey, make sure that you keep a good credit.
Yeah.
You at the time when you were getting your house, would you say that you had a good amount of credit?
It was the FICO scores that I was lacking,
Okay.
because it was always just pay for cash instead of put it on your card and then just pay the card.
At the time of purchasing your house, do you remember what your FICO score was?
It was like 550.
Okay.
It wasn't that high.
But it was because you were not actually reporting everything.
Exactly.
Okay. And I mean, definitely, yeah, it's a financial obstacle that we face, many people that just pay with cash on a day-to-day basis. All right, let's go over question number 3. If you could move anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
It would be here, Southern Arizona.
All right, you're comfortable here.
I'm comfortable here. California, unfortunately, from a political standpoint, the country's getting run down. And I love going and visiting. Don't get me wrong. I love going back and visiting. But to live,
Wouldn't be the same.
it would not be the same.
All right. Hey, I mean,
That's why everybody's leaving.
and that's the reason why you're here. You truly enjoy it. I mean, you have your business in here. You've created, several bonds with friends and family. So I think that that's good. Question number 4 is, how good are you with your current time management skills?
I'm still working on procrastination. I feel that procrastination is the greatest enemy of humans. One of, but I'm working on that.
And then the final question is, what are 3 skills that could propel someone's success?
Don't stop believing. Bible principles, God first.
Okay.
And everything will fall into place. That kind of sums it up in a nutshell. So that would be 1. And then believing would be 2. Start saving money now.
How would you describe your relationship with money?
We have a good relationship.
What is the best financial advice that you can give based on your personal experience? And I know that we already touched into saving money, but I mean, you're a business owner. Maybe for people that are going to be watching this that, are thinking of starting their own business, what is some financial advice that you could give them?
No matter what amount of money you get, always put 10% away. Always.
What is the worst financial advice that you have ever received or heard of?
Compulsive
Buying.
buying. Yes.
Have you seen any friends, family members? And what is like a few of the things that,
You peeking, honey.
what is something that you've seen that they've bought that you're like, oh my God, like, why do they do it?
I'm going to keep it even simpler than that. My wife just bought ketchup yesterday. And as I was writing a list, she says, put ketchup on there. I said, honey, you just bought ketchup. Oh,
Are you comfortable with your current financial situation?
I'm content, but yes, I am.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to go over a second section called Would You Rather. First one is, and it's the same concept, just 5 random generated questions. Question number 1 is, would you rather win the lottery but lose your friends or lose all of your friends but win the lottery?
Win the lottery.
All right. Question number 2, would you rather work from home or work at the office?
Work at the office.
Okay. I'm quite surprised on that one because you're pretty much, like always on a route or something, having to go door to door. Would you be willing to trade that for just having a job that you just have to be in an office?
Oh, see, that's different.
Okay.
Well, I would rather work for myself, of course.
Definitely.
But if I had an office job, I would rather be out because I can meet people
Yeah.
than just be at home and kids crying in the background. Not that we have little ones like that, but yeah, I want to be out.
All right. Question number 3. Would you rather have unlimited money but no free time, or have unlimited time but no money?
That's got to be a happy medium there.
You could create your own one if you believe that there's, a happy place in between.
This is why I went on my own. I haven't completed a year yet being on my own, and I already make what I made when I was with Terminex for 15 years. And my wife gets tired of me just sitting on the couch.
She's like, I see you too much. What are you doing?
I'm leaving right now. I got the second shift.
All right, question number 4. Would you rather get to eat out for every meal for 6 months every year, or retire at the age of 55?
Retire at the age of 55.
Are you going to be able to retire at the age of 55 in your current situation?
I'm going to retire because of this kind of business that I have. It's not really physically in demand. I'm going to retire until I die.
And then the last question of this section is, would you rather have a bank account for every single financial goal, or have one bank account that holds everything?
Well, like my grandfather would say, don't put your eggs in all your eggs in one basket. So
Okay. Have one for every single financial goal.
exactly.
All right. So that concludes our Would You Rather section. What is the best financial decision that you have ever made?
Going on my own.
All righty. How do you get started? I mean, you just described that you did 50 years at Terminex.
Mhm.
And then at one point you're like, hey, you know what? I have acquired all this knowledge. I think that I can actually go on my own. If we can talk about like, what was like your initial investment, or like what made you think like, hey, you know what? This is it. I need to go on and figure it out myself.
If you work for a good company that offers 401k, get into it. If you still live with your parents or roommates where you're not having to do all the expense yourself, put as much as you can, 15%, even 20%. But if you do have a family, I know it's tighter, but at least 10% in a 401k or an IRA. But yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Okay. What is the worst financial decision that you have ever made?
It was a van that I bought, a caravan van, and I was paying 24% interest rate. Yeah. Yeah. But my family was growing. Kids were young. It was one of those grand caravans. And it was a blessing at the time, but then.
I mean, you pretty much just got it so you could have everyone on the same car,
Yeah.
You had kids and all that. But was like your monthly payment quite high? I mean, your
$400 and some odd dollars.
okay, not that bad.
It wasn't that bad. But I mean, at that kind of interest rate.
Yeah, definitely. Gave a lot of money, a lot of cash in there. Do you still have it?
Oh, no. God said, you know what, mijo, okay, you used it as far as you going to use it, but I'm going to go ahead and allow this to happen. And it turned out well because I know this sounds bad, but we got in a car accident.
Oh.
And they gave me more than what it was worth. And when I made another decision to buy something else, my credit was a lot better, that I would never pay 24% for it. And I recommend nobody to pay 24% interest rate for a vehicle.
Definitely. If you could go back in time and change one financial decision, which would it be and why?
It's too much.
What do you mean it's too much?
Well, a financial decision, what can I have done different? Save money earlier.
Okay. You did have like your spending spree early on?
Yes, when I was young, it was all about spend, spend, spend. I was still good at saving, but I would save to spend even bigger instead of in the future. So that's my greatest regret. My greatest regret would have been not purchasing a house earlier than what I did.
Excellent. All right. We're going to go over our last section called What Do You Think? Same concept, just 5 random generated questions. This one is more about opinions and thoughts on money. Question number 1 is it better to rent or to buy a house?
Buy a house.
Question number 2, how much does our credit score impact our financial opportunities?
Unfortunately, it impacts.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
But I think that you saw it early on, and I believe that since you know this, you're probably, a little bit more careful, with your kids, like, hey, make sure that you take care of that because you know the importance of it. So your kids, won't go through that. So I think that's great, like you have that previous knowledge that you'll be transferring to them. So pretty good. All right. Question number 3. Is it good or bad to buy things with 0% interest for a specific period, such as 12 or 24 months?
Depending on what the interest rate is afterwards.
But in this case, a 0% interest.
Sure, because you can build your scores, your FICO scores, credit scores.
All right. Question number 4. What are some pros and cons about reading financial literacy books?
They all have fine prints.
Final question of this section is, should we discuss financial goals with friends and family?
Yes,
Why do you think that is?
to prepare them for the economy and the economy to come. You want to prepare them. It's really, really, really important.
Have you ever encountered that you're at a family gathering and then that is a topic of discussion, talking about the economy or like financial goals or, anything related to financial literacy? Have you acquired some knowledge based on that or like changed a decision based on someone else's opinion?
Have in the past. Now, if you touch the bases on economy, it's going to turn into politics. And, so I keep it basic, 401k, IRA, save nothing less than 10%. But yeah.
Excellent. Finally, just to wrap it all up, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Do you have any final thoughts?
Get close to God.
Sounds good. Great. Thanks so much. Really appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Honey, you next.